Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Maddie's second nutrition mailbag. About 12:28 right now. So I'm going to wait a couple minutes for a few people to hop on. I hope everybody's having a good day. Happy Friday. Today's topic, well, I have a couple questions that I got over the week that I think are really great questions. I'm going to address those. And then we're going to talk a little bit about mindful eating. So grab a snack, grab your lunch, and you can do that practice. We're going to do a little activity for mindful eating. So you can do it with whatever meal you're having. And as you all have hopefully seen by now, we have our virtual wellness challenge that started today. So that's something that I think really anybody can benefit from, regardless of what your wellness and health goals are. So on that wellness challenge page, you we'll be posting me and different Y staff, personal trainers, fitness instructors are going to be posting daily exercises for you along with a daily challenge. I'll be posting a daily nutrition information kind of blurb along with the challenge for that as well. And I have my virtual office hours, so if anybody wants to call in and chat, you can be anonymous for it if you want. I do office hours on Monday and Tuesday mornings from 9:30 until 10, and then Wednesday and Thursday afternoons 3:30 to 4. The number is 701-802-5073. So you just call that number and then you put in the code, which is 114979. All right, it's 12:30, so we're gonna get started. So one question that I got this week, which I think is a great question, and it kind of ties into what I talked about last week, which was emotional eating and how to notice it and how to kind of listen to your internal cues of hunger and satiety and kind of trust and honor that and go with that. So somebody asked, is it better to eat on a schedule or to eat only when you're hungry? And my answer to that is noticing and honoring your hunger levels is really important, because when you're feeling physical hunger, that's the sign that your body needs fuel. So that's not something to ignore ever. That's something to honor. And for people who are really tuned into their bodies, they can really notice those hunger levels. This might be all that they need to go by in order to make sure that they're getting enough nourishment. However, someone for a variety of reasons might not feel or notice their physical hunger very often. So with that, I say check in with your body every 3 to 4 hours. If you check in and notice that you're not physically hungry, but it's been 4 or more hours since you've had something to eat, then do recognize that your body needs some sort of nourishment at that point. So have a little something. I say, have at least 2 food groups. So like a protein and a carbohydrate. So like a piece of toast with some peanut butter or yogurt with some granola or fruit. Have a little something. See if that kind of sparks your hunger. Sometimes your stomach needs a little something for it to be like, oh yeah, I'm actually hungry. So a good example of this is a lot of people don't have hunger in the morning. They don't feel hungry, and so they skip breakfast because they're not hungry. But this is a good example of where you do have to recognize that you haven't eaten for that entire time that you've been asleep, so 7, 8, 9 hours. So your body needs nourishment when you wake up in the morning. So it is important to eat something to give you some energy to get you through the morning. So have a little something. You might find that once you get, so if you're a non-breakfast eater, once you get into the routine of having breakfast in the morning, that your body gets used to it and your morning hunger might actually come back. All right. So, oh, okay. The next question that came up was, I want to lose weight. What should I consider first? Um, and to this, I say, if you're considering starting a weight loss journey, ask yourself if you're in a place where you can focus on weight loss in a healthy way. So that means you have to consider a couple things. One thing to consider is your mental health, especially during quarantine. If you're struggling with anxiety or stress, during quarantine or not, um, you know, right now, this is a stressful and anxious time. So right now might not be a time for you to focus on losing weight. That might add extra stress. And that's not needed. It just might not be the right time. And I say, take your mental health kind of takes priority over trying to lose weight. Um, Another really big thing to kind of consider before you start weight loss is your relationship with food. Do you have a good relationship with food? So if you're someone who struggles with disordered eating, or if you're somebody who kind of has black and white thinking about food, in terms of like seeing certain foods as good, certain foods as bad, if you're somebody who finds themselves in that restrict binge cycle, or if you feel guilt or shame around food, I really want to encourage you to instead focus on the goal of improving your relationship with food before you focus on the goal of losing weight. If you don't have a good relationship with food, it might not be good or healthy for you to focus on weight loss at this time. If any of you have any questions about what it means to have a good relationship with food, that's a whole other topic, and maybe we can touch on it in the following weeks. But feel free to message me as well, and we can chat more. Another thing to consider is your home situation, especially during this time. Are you working from home right now? Do you have a partner or a spouse that's working from home as well? Do you have kids that you're taking care of that are now out of school? Um, if you're finding that you have less time than ever, um, now might not be a good time to focus on weight loss. If you find that you do have more time to really start to focus on some goals and setting some healthy habits, then maybe this is a great time to start focusing on weight loss if you're in a good place and you have some time to commit to it. Another thing to consider is your health, your physical health at this time. If you're sick, which God forbid, I hope none of us are, or none of us, everyone stays healthy. But if you are sick, weight loss doesn't necessarily boost your immunity. So just consider that as well. So our topic of the day today is mindful eating. So last week we talked about emotional or stress eating, what it means, how to identify it, why it happens, and how to address it. Today, I want to talk about um, mindless or boredom eating. So I like to call this eating without intention. So eating without the intention of enjoying a food or for nourishing yourself. So if you ever find yourself eating super quickly, or you just ate a meal and you said, "Wow, did I even like really taste that?" Or realizing that you ate too much, you ate really quickly, and then a little while after you're feeling too full, or that you didn't eat enough, or boredom eating. So like we've all been there when we take a whole bag of chips or popcorn or whatever it may be, and we eat it in front of the TV, and before we know it, the whole bag might be gone. Um, so it's something that we all do. It is nothing to be guilty about or beat yourself up over. Again, it's something to look at with from a lens of curiosity. So to notice, why it might be happening, and maybe try something to kind of reduce it happening, but not being mean to yourself at the same time. So that's where a mindful eating practice can be really important, and can be really effective in addressing, boredom, mindless eating. The benefits of mindful eating, and I'll go kind of into what it means, is it helps you to slow down. And by slowing down with your eating, it allows you to kind of pay attention and start to notice your body's physical signs of hunger and satiety or fullness. Um, and it allows your stomach to send signals to your brain about if it needs more food, if it's had enough, not enough, too much. So our stomach and our brain are constantly in communication. It takes about 20 minutes for our stomach to send a message to our brain and for our brain to receive it. So by slowing down our eating and eating more mindfully, it gives our stomach time to send the message to our brain and let us know where we are in terms of our hunger and satiety. Mindful eating also helps you to enjoy and savor your food and allows you to feel more satisfied by the food that you're eating because you're enjoying it a little bit more. So mindful eating essentially is the practice of slowing down with eating. When you're eating, you're just eating, no other distractions, and you're using all of your senses to enjoy the food. So mindless eating might look like you might eat past full, you might ignore your hunger or satiety cues, you might eat when you're bored, you might eat while you're multitasking, while you're doing something else on your phone, watching TV, whatever it may be. Whereas mindful eating, you're listening to your body's cues, you're eating when you're hungry, when you're eating, you're just eating, no other distractions. So we are going to practice, or I'm going to bring you through a practice of mindful eating. It's something that you can do as you're watching along now. If you have your lunch or if you have a drink, you can do it with a drink. Or this is something that you can come back to and practice with your next snack or meal. So we're going to practice connecting with eating by using all of our senses. So the first step of this is take a moment to yourself with no distractions. Put your phone down, turn away from your computer. Don't do that now if you're listening to me, but if you practice this on your own, find a quiet place and take a few deep breaths. And then you're going to tune in to how your body feels. More specifically, your stomach. So really pay attention to how your stomach feels right now. Is it hungry? Is it full? Are you thirsty? If you're hungry or thirsty, what are you hungry or thirsty for? Now you're going to look at your food. So I like to do this activity with chocolate. So say you have a piece of chocolate or whatever it is that you're having. You're going to look at it. So you're using sight now. You're going to observe how it looks. What is its size, its shape, its color, its texture. And then you're going to think about everything that happened for this food to get to you. So this could be the growing, harvesting, production, processing, packaging, the shipping, the stocking of the product on the shelf. Hi, Mike. Thanks for joining. And you can take a minute to feel gratitude for the steps and the people that it took to get this food on your plate. Now you bring the food to your nose and you smell it. So we're using the next sense, the smell. Do you notice any sensations, any emotions that rise up, any memories, any thoughts? And then the next step that you do is you put it in your mouth without chewing or swallowing. You take that bite, put it in your mouth. Just notice the flavor and the texture of it in your mouth. Notice any physical sensations that come up. Your mouth might be watering, your stomach might growl. And then you take one bite. You notice the flavor and the texture of the food. And as you take more bites, notice the parts of your mouth that are involved in chewing. Continue to notice the sensations and the flavor. And then when you're ready, you swallow and you're aware of the path that the food travels down your throat into your stomach. And then you just take a minute to connect with your body and your senses. and kind of notice, how it was. How was eating that piece of food mindfully? How is that different from the normal way that you eat food? So that's kind of like the whole 9 step process of mindful eating. You can do this with your kids too. I think kids have a lot of fun with mindful eating because it's so sensory. You can talk about, like, say you have a piece of broccoli. You can say, what does it look like? What color is it? It looks like a tiny tree. Or, what happened for this broccoli to get on our plate? How did it grow? Who picked it? What does it smell like? Involve your kids in that too, because it's, you know, mindful eating for kids is an awesome practice, I think, because kids can distracted eat and eat quickly as well too. Um, this is also a great practice for when you're eating to satisfy cravings. Which you should be doing. You might not necessarily be eating for hunger. You might be eating to satisfy a craving. So when you're doing that, mindful eating allows you to portion it out, um, and satisfy that craving and fully enjoy that food without overdoing it. So I always say, if you're doing this with chocolate, eating a few pieces of chocolate mindfully is way more satisfying and enjoyable than eating a whole chocolate bar mindlessly, if that makes sense. So you can choose to try this, a few times a week to start, do the whole practice a few times a week or with, one meal a day. Or you can take, one or two of the practices, like observing the what it looks like, and then observing maybe the smell. Maybe you take those two things and apply that to the first couple of bites of your meal. Um, so hopefully that's helpful. And I think this talk today and my talk last week was really the focus was on eating itself. Why we eat. We eat for 3 reasons, main reasons: the feelings and emotions associated with eating or not associated with eating, um, and really listening and trusting your internal cues. The focus, so I really wanted to focus on that at first because I think those are really good bases to build when it comes to healthy eating. But for the following weeks, I'm going to really dive deep more into nutrition education and get into the nutrition healthy eating stuff. So next week, I'm going to be talking about meal prepping, meal planning, meal prepping, how to I have a really great activity and resource for you all on planning out easy, healthy meals that you actually enjoy eating and that you can actually look forward to having that will have that satisfaction enjoyment factor, rather than, when I think of meal prepping, I think of like black Tupperware containers with like baked chicken, white rice, and steamed broccoli. So we'll talk about how to make meal prepping a little bit more exciting. So hopefully you join in next Friday at 12:30 for Maddie's Nutrition Mailbag. In the meantime, message me on Facebook with your questions. Call into my virtual office hours. Email me mvandussen@ymcasc.org. Shoot me your questions. Let me know what topics that you want me to cover, and I look forward to connecting with you guys again. Thank you.